funny movie.
I'm not an Adam Sandler.
I'm not either.
That guy's alive.
I mean, because his movies are fun and you're not into that sort of thing.
No, they're terrible.
They are not terrible. Adam Sandler movies are not terrible.
No,
No high five.
have you
I
seen
don't know why they like him so much.
Have you seen The Wedding Singer?
Yes.
It's a great film.
That's the one that I need to see that I've been told to.
It has Sean Astin in it. You should appreciate that.
Hilarious.
What?
The Wedding Singer. It's like all 80s theme, which is like you're totally about that sort of thing. It's awesome.
Okay, I'll consider.
It's all about like if you're one of those millennials that's all about that like that's all about like that false nostalgia because you weren't actually alive in the 80s.
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. I'm looking at you.
Unless you grew up watching films from that era, then it kind of.
We did grow up watching Back to the Future.
But that's what I mean by false nostalgia. Like it's not really nostalgic. You've like
it's not false because you grew up watching films from that era.
Nostalgia itself made you nostalgic.
Those of us who were raised by parents who were really into the 80s grew up listening to 80s music and watching 80s films.
This is true.
So for us, it's like nostalgic to our childhood because our parents were so into that.
Right. I mean, I like Michael Jackson, Van Halen, and Bon Jovi. That's kind of where it stops.
Back to the Future.
No,
the Sandlot.
No one cares.
No Queen. No. Okay.
The Sandlot.
No.
Goonies.
I know, right?
Seriously.
No Metallica,
the Goonies isn't that great.
It really isn't.
Thank you.
Metallica is overrated.
Shut up.
Metallica and the Beatles are overrated.
Beatles, yes. Metallica, not so much.
I will strangle.
And you call yourself
Metallica? They play a cool riff, but then they play it the whole song. There's nothing innovative about that.
I'm with you. The Beatles are way over it. They were just the first boy band.
I can't stand these people right now.
Which I don't know if they were the first boy band, but they were definitely like the first popular boy band.
Definitely.
Like with the whole.
They set the standard for the boy bands.
Was the Beach Boys? Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
oh, that's true. Yeah, I was gonna say.
And see, the Beach Boys are the cliche boy band because literally everything they ever wrote sounds exactly the same.
Ouch.
I love the Beach Boys. Don't get me wrong. I like the Beach Boys, but I can only listen to them for like 5 minutes because after a while, it's like listening to the same song over and over and over again. They all sound the same.
I
love the Beatles because there's a variety of sound.
Yes.
They got really creative. Every album they wrote is...
They got really creative with their...
Shut up.
For the whole...
Well, you're going to be on the end of that spectrum soon enough.
I can't wait to hear what people say.
Okay, so...
Because then I get to be like, well, you're an idiot, so...
Well,
for those of you that are...
They're so great.
For those of you that are watching,
That's Screamer.
Josh here, his band Aerosed, has finally debuted their first album. You can actually find the links to Spotify and iTunes in the description to this video.
And YouTube.
They're actually
we have a lyric video on our YouTube page.
Are you guys like planning on doing like a music video at any point?
Yes, we are.
Would you like to briefly explain the genre?
Okay.
For the people who don't know.
So it's a genre called post-hardcore, which I mean to simple it down, it's metal, but it's like there's like clean singing and screaming. So there's and it's involves like a lot of lower tuning and like breakdowns and stuff.
It's very nice. I like it.
Yeah, we're
what would you akin it to?
We Came as Romans? Is that what you said?
I was actually gonna say that. Yeah, they remind me of We Came as Romans, which I love because you've got that really nice balance of clean vocals but screaming, but then you've got this nice technical aspect with the guitar. So that's really what I like.
I'm not a fan of screaming, but I can definitely appreciate the amount of effort that he went and put into this.
I've been practicing and doing like vocals since I was 15 years old.
Lyrics are great.
I'm 19. I'm almost 20 now, and it's really cool to have
and
some.
Speaking of, one of your song titles relates to our topic today.
We have a song called Valinor, which is the name of the elven country over the sea that they talk about in Lord of the Rings.
Which brings us to our topic tonight, Lord of the Rings and J.R.R. Tolkien.
J.R.R. Tolkien, folks.
I think we'll be talking a little bit about comparison of the movies to the books. The man himself will be comparing his work to C.S. Lewis a little bit. We did Chronicles of Narnia a couple months ago, so we'll touch back on that a little bit.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Who wants to see something cool?
Oh, now?
Yeah.
What?
We can save that for later.
Question: is it cool?
Very much
also, Joseph watched a certain movie. We can wait to discuss that.
We can discuss that. Yeah.
Toward the end.
Towards the end.
Oh yeah. No, I want to show him now.
We'll do that when we're making the transfer for John Explains.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way, we know everyone's watching too.
Yes.
Okay. Can we do another shout out towards like after John Explains?
Sure.
Is that cool?
We can do.
I wanna like make sure because it's the
Definitely.
start. I want
to make sure that when people are tuned in.
I'm like overly excited, and the way I deal with when I'm not excited, I'm really loud. When I am excited and like all that, I'm much more even.
So you're not excited.
He's always excited, apparently.
Well, okay, well I'm always loud. Okay, fine, I'll concede. I'm always loud, but like I don't like streams and like just do weird things. Like you know what I'm talking about.
So you're not excited.
I'll fight you.
You will lose.
No, when you're excited,
Arguably at this
you
point,
do this
yeah.
thing
And I
where
will
you
take
grab
all
the
the
person
winnings.
closest to you and you
Yeah, he does that
Okay,
to me
that's
all the
only
time.
whenever we're watching How I Met Your Mother.
That's a
No,
lie.
you do that all the
That
time,
is a
Josh.
lie.
You do that a lot.
Yeah.
I have
Linda
seen
and I
you
were
do
talking
that
about
on a
that.
number of
Linda's like, he
occasions.
always does this thing where he grabs me, he does this, and I'm like, yeah, he does that to everyone.
Or when I've seen you when you're excited, you go like, yeah, or like something like that.
So it's
Okay,
I
I
can do that.
Okay, I just
But
want
I'm
to take.
fine with that. That's all.
I just want to take a minute and say I'm actually really proud of Josh for accomplishing his goal. That's something that this is something not a lot of people get to do. I mean, I remember how I felt when I held the first copy of my published novel, and I felt such a deep sense of accomplishment. And I'm really glad that you get to know what that's like now. So, dude, congratulations and good job.
Thanks. We don't have any hard copies of the album, which the album is called Insomnia-EP, but it's called Insomnia, and it's by Erised. If you don't know how to spell Erised, not only is it in the description, but quick easy trick, it is desire spelled backwards. If you get that reference, I'm very proud of you.
Nice.
Hint, hint, the main character looks a lot like this.
True.
Hey, at least I can own it at this point.
Yeah, that's...
You
You look more like... he looks more like the main character than the actor that played him at this
He
point.
does.
He does.
Yeah.
You do.
I see it. I see it.
People have been telling him that for years.
Yep.
You need the rounds, though.
I used to have round glasses. That's the
That's
real
the
trick.
part.
You grew up to be what that character looks like grown up, but the actor did not. Not even sort of.
They'll just recast it as Joseph, and Joseph hasn't even finished the books
Like
yet.
somewhat like when they do the future Harry Potter movies, they'll just find Not Your Average Productions by some miracle and be like, hey, that guy looks like Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
it's
it wasn't
absolutely-
obvious, if it wasn't obvious enough, we were talking about Harry Potter. Erised is a reference to the Mirror of Erised, which shows up in the Sorcerer's Stone, the first book of the Harry Potter series.
Well, the
That's his only
Philosopher's
appearance,
Stone,
right?
If you're British.
No, it's the other way around.
Well,
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the Philosopher's
I need to
Stone
read
here
it.
because it's the Sorcerer's Stone is not kid friendly.
Well, I thought they renamed it Sorcerer's
Josh,
Stone
you
here
have it
because
wrong.
of the.
It's the other way
Yeah,
around,
yeah.
Josh.
Josh, it's Sorcerer's
Yeah.
Stone here. It's Philosopher's Stones in European
Yeah.
versions.
That's what I thought.
Why did they?
Because you're stupid.
Because of their dictionaries different from ours.
Because
like,
they're smarter than us.
Actually,
Yes.
according to get this, we were
It's not
when
true,
we were living in Australia, we were very close with a British family. The lady is actually an English teacher. She actually stated that Americans have a more correct handle on the way to spell and the dictionary than British and Australians and New Zealand's and all of them. Apparently, Kiwis, whatever you want to call
Kiwi.
whatever you want to call them.
New Zealanders.
Basically,
New
Zealanders.
apparently Americans have like the most proper grasp on English if we speak it properly.
Platypuses, platypi, platypeople, whatever.
You're a platypi.
I know!
The plural for octopus is octopuses. It's not octopi. I looked it up.
Octopus.
I was really upset.
Octopus.
Yeah.
I know, and I corrected so many
Yes.
days.
That was like his
wait.
first difficult word that he had a hard time with.
Octopus. No,
I'm glad-
I pronounced it correctly. You all have it wrong.
And I'm glad
Octopus.
Octoputus. It's like flutterbys.
Yeah. That's the real way you say it.
And I'm glad you guys brought New Zealand because these are
Hey,
films.
I know, we keep going away
Great.
from the topic.
No, it's okay because they were
Where-
films in the great country
so-
of New Zealand.
I mean,
We have
okay,
one
let's
there.
be honest though. Who here has actually read all of them?
Ooh, Aaron
You read all
got.
of them? You read all
Who's
of them?
read all the Lord of the Rings?
I
Not
Oh,
Joseph.
Jonathan. I've read the first
I don't
two,
blame
and
you.
it was a kid.
Nathan wants to know where you're at, John.
So
Oh.
Jonathan is in my spot.
He's side-cocking today.
He's laying on the couch.
But he's not doing a very
Say
good
hi.
job of it. He's just kind of playing around.
Did Sonic make you
Hey,
mad?
Georgina.
Yeah, dude, that Sonic
I think
game
Sonic
is like...
bummed him out.
Hey,
Dude, it's why he shouldn't play too many video games. It like makes him...
Hey, Josh, do a solid favor and can it now.
Can it now for what?
I don't want to talk about it.
Can it now.
Let's see.
Note to self, don't let Jonathan
Let's see,
play
Aaron.
Sonic.
Okay, so Aaron wants to know what's our opinion on the animated J.R.R. Tolkien versions of the films. I think we saw
The
those.
animated?
Yeah, we saw those once at the Grants years and years ago.
I think I saw that when I was like 5 years old, so don't.
When I was a kid, I loved them as a kid. Actually, I watched the animated Hobbit a lot, like more frequently because I owned that one.
That one's
And I really enjoyed.
Is it any good?
The animation is a little painful,
yeah.
but
very 60s.
The music makes me really happy, especially because the more current Hobbit films, the music reminds me slightly of the music from the Hobbit film when I was a kid, and it got me like nostalgic, and it made me like super emotional, like when the dwarves are singing and stuff, because it really, really reminded me of the cartoon, which I watched constantly as a child. So, and I read The Hobbit as a kid like 12 times. I was obsessed.
Oh my gosh.
And I read The Fellowship and I can't talk Two Towers when I was in middle school, and I haven't actually ever finished The Return of the King, unfortunately. I really want to go back and do that at some point.
I read The Hobbit. I read The Hobbit, and I got through The Fellowship of the Ring, but I couldn't do the other two books. They just moved too slow for me.
Which is funny, because the other two books are the best ones. So
I was just burnt out on
the
the
easiest one for me.
But like that's the thing. The thing I did start reading the Silmarillion.
Oh gosh.
It put me to sleep. And so if anybody
that's like something I would have to listen to as an audiobook, honestly.
No, it would put you to sleep so fast.
Oh man.
The Silmarillion, if anybody doesn't know, it was not intended for publication. Tolkien was a historian. So he had to know, in order to structure Middle-earth, he had to have a history for himself. So he wrote the Silmarillion just as his own reference, so he understood the world he was writing within and its mechanics.
I'm kind of doing that for my own book series right now.
Which is really cool. But, I mean, it's not written... I mean, it's published, and I'm really, really cool, I'm sure. I wish I had the patience to finish it.
If I remember
maybe someday I will.
His son is the one who published it.
Yeah.
And Tolkien wrote it when he was actually in the trenches in World War I. That's when he started making the notes of it and developing it too. But his son published it and finished it.
I remember when I was in 5th grade, and like we had to do a book report each semester, and the first semester I did Eldest because I was looking forward to Bruce Singer coming.
Camera over there.
Sorry,
don't talk to your lap.
That's a good point. I had recently gotten into the Aragon series, and so I did Eldest, and I greatly enjoyed it. But I remember like all the other students were doing stuff like A to Z mysteries. It was like less than 100-page books. I was like, y'all are weak.
Well,
and then I did the Hobbit, and my teacher did a double take. And I was like, and I remember just thinking, why is everyone surprised by this? According to the novel, it's supposed to be a kid's book.
What grade were you in when you read The Hobbit?
The 5th grade.
See,
So
I read it.
I read it in 4th grade.
I read it in
7th grade.
See, yeah,
Jonathan
John
wins.
John and I both read it in 3rd because I read it the first 2 times in 3rd, and then I read it a few more times. And I remember my elementary school had like a online program where we could test to prove that we read the books we did. And so I remember my librarian was super weirded out because as a little elementary schooler, I passed all of the tests for The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Cool. And she's like, you are a 3rd grader. How did you but actually my mom, the first thing, my mom read them to me first, and I then read them myself later. But it was, that was fun stuff.
Speaking of book accuracy,
what's up?
I'd like to talk about the fact that the Hobbit films basically completely missed the fact that there was no big plot.
And I will go into that because
thank you.
it frustrates me too.
There were
they had to give it this great purpose that they're taking back their kingdom.
have to admit they did some scenes very well.
That wasn't in the book, Josh.
But it kind of wasn't. No one cared about
that
it.
Wasn't my problem.
That's actually a major thing.
The problem is that originally, you guys know who Guillermo del Toro is, right? The director.
Yes.
He was going to direct The Hobbit, but the film kept getting delayed because there was a lot of because MGM owned the rights to the Hobbit film, And so, like, because New Line did Lord of the Rings, there's, like, a lot of rights issues, and so the movie's like, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? It kept getting delayed, and it was really frustrating. And then it finally got greenlit. And Guillermo del Toro just got sick of the project getting delayed, and now he's like, I'm leaving. And so Peter Jackson was pulled in last minute. And with Lord of the Rings, he had, like, 2 to 3 years of prep time for the movie.
For each movie?
Yeah, just for the first movie, because they filmed the whole trilogy back-to-back.
Oh, okay.
But with The Hobbit, he only had a few months to prepare for it, so he was like, okay, I'll do the best I can. And it was going to be a 2-part movie. Well, he initially wanted it to be one movie. They're like, we'll do a 2.
Been a 2-part.
They were going to do 2-part. Like,
2 parts would have been
good.
Yeah.
Or split it differently for the 3
Well, here's
parts.
the thing, though. The first part was going to be the book. The second part was going to be a bridge between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
Interesting.
Like
Beautiful. Would have been awesome.
Because, I mean, The Hobbit is so different from Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Just reading it.
Very different.
As a child, you can easily read The Hobbit. But you really have to have a lot of patience. You have a lot more maturity to understand the Lord of the Rings, and so I mean, it's a lot more material. And with The Hobbit, there's only so much material, and there were still some things that I wish had been included. But
I was able to enjoy The Hobbit simply because I enjoyed all 3 of the movies, and only because of the fact that after seeing the first movie especially, I was like, I cannot go in to the theaters for these next 2 movies expecting to see the book.
Yeah.
That is a mistake that a lot of people make these days. Like, and you can even say the same with superhero movies. They're expecting the old stuff. It's not going to be the same as the old stuff with better graphics because that's just not going to make a new good movie. They have to take a chance.
I'm fine with them changing it, but the changes they made were bad changes.
There were some good things that they did.
Like
there were.
Okay.
Yeah, something that I definitely got into was Sauron's Rise of Power.
That was interesting.
It was it was an interesting. That wasn't in the books at all.
That's true.
But I thought it was a nice bridge between the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit.
Plus, also in the book, like Gandalf keeps disappearing, and you're like, where does he keep going to in the movies? Like, we're showing you where he goes.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool. I like that.
That's one of the changes I like. And then there were some things that they did very beautifully by the book, such as the scene where Bilbo and Gollum have the riddles.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was amazingly done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
like,
yeah, that was. I think that was my favorite part because it was almost verbatim.
It was. It basically was. Like I read The Hobbit before I went to see the first movie.
They actually read that scene when they were filmed. That was the first scene they filmed for The Hobbit, and they were actually reading the book while they were like practicing.
Yeah,
it's
exactly like I pictured it. It's everything. Even the way they animated Gollum different from before. Like
just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it reminded me again, I think for me, again, it referenced the cartoon a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
And it made me really happy.
It was like
so
I'm sure
even though the cartoon is horrid, I liked some things from it.
Yeah.
like the Chronicles of Narnia cartoons that came out ages ago.
I never watched the cartoons. I only saw the BBC version.
I
loved the BBC versions as a child because that's all I had.
That's true. We did love them as children, but then we saw the magic of the new ones, and now BBC is.
Except I hate.
Still no.
We can talk about that on another time.
Oh dang.
Well, the Voyage of the Time Shredder this movie was much better than the last one, and it's much better than the book.
See,
it was better than Prince Caspian, but the book is
Prince Caspian's the best one.
As a child, I hated
it. Okay.
This is a debate we can't have right now. It's going to take way too long.
We just ventured into C.S. Lewis, not J.R.R.
Tolkien.
They were friends, so it's okay.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, well, I mean...
But also,
did you guys? I mean, it would be a good segue to discuss the differences.
Well, yeah,
in their
like
styles.
Didn't they have an argument over whether or not you could put your faith into a novel without making it into an allegory? And that's how Lord of the Rings and the Chronicles of Narnia were born.
No, they.
Because Tolkien,
they wanted to prove that fantasy wasn't stupid. That was the point.
You could write fantasy and it would still be something for adults.
Right.
The difference is, C.S. Lewis. Everything's an allegory with C.S. Lewis.
And he does it very well.
And it's beautiful. I love it. Tolkien not only wrote in aspects of his faith, but he wrote in things that he was struggling with as an individual.
Yeah.
He wrote in things from his own life. It wasn't an allegory. He makes it kind of like, I almost feel like Joseph's style of writing.
I'm trying to aim to be more like
similar
Tolkien.
to Tolkien, because Joseph, he includes aspects of his faith, but he also includes struggles from life. He works through his anger with a lot of these characters. He works through a lot of emotions, stuff he's going through, and he uses his life experience to really make his characters deeper. And I'm not saying this. C.S. Lewis doesn't do the same thing, because he does in certain aspects. I mean, if you've read C.S. Lewis' Space Trilogy, he deals with some major crap.
I still haven't read that.
Which, by the way, that's like one of the original space science fiction.
And
that's a book series that you read.
I love it.
If you read that book series, one thing you take away from it is don't piss off authors because they will get back at you through their novels.
As a point, I mean, I have to say, most of C.S. Lewis's villains in his space trilogy are college professors. I think he's working through some issues.
I can see that.
Anyway, but back to Tolkien. He was
dealing with PTSD from World War II when he was writing The Hobbit.
Yes.
It's just, I think, in a way, it makes for better fantasy because he's including these real-life emotions, but also incorporating his faith. And so it's more well-rounded as fantasy. I love C.S. Lewis, don't get me wrong. I love C.S. Lewis so much. But I will read C.S. Lewis looking for encouragement, looking for opportunities to be... sorry, my brain. But, I mean, you read them for different reasons.
Okay.
And
C.S. Lewis is a better nonfiction writer.
Oh my gosh! Theologically, C.S. Lewis is like, right on.
Actually, my favorite fiction book of his is the Screwtape Letters.
See, and for me, it's The Great Divorce.
That
one's pretty good.
The Great Divorce is so convicting, and I read it. Basically, The Great Divorce is about the relationship between heaven and hell while we're here on Earth, and the decisions we're making that are contributing to going either way. Mm-hmm. And it's like super, super heavy, but it's like I'm reading about all these people choosing hell and relating to them, and I'm like, oh, whoa, like I'm convicted right now. Mm-hmm. But it's pretty trippy. Anyway, that's.
I would like to talk about a wonderful, wonderful character named Sam, and how he is the best. The greatest fictional sidekick of all time.
And no one will ever
Robin, move out of the way.
Robin,
the funny thing
Tails, Miles Prower, get out of the way.
The funny thing is
no one can play Sam but Sean Astin.
Exactly.
So that remake for TV that's coming up, go away.
No, Sean Astin wants the remake to happen.
No!
True, he does.
So Chris and I were discussing this before the podcast.
We were.
So basically what's happening is there is likely going to be a series for Lord of the Rings now. The rights are being debated there, and so they're really upset because they don't want it to be remade.
I am not upset.
Oh, he's not?
No, if Sean Astin wants it, I'm down.
See, the way I feel is the movies are beautiful. I love the Lord of the Rings movies, but you can't take this much material and pack it into one movie. It's way too much.
And you have to cut out stuff like Tom Bombadil. You gotta cut out Tom Bombadil.
And when you think about it, it made sense because when you think of him to the main plot, it's kind of like a side.
No, he's irrelevant to the main plot.
Right.
He's completely irrelevant to the main plot.
But I can see why you guys...
Like, for example, in Fellowship of the Ring, they actually cut out the first time they ever met elves. Because in the movie, they never meet elves at Rivendell.
Right.
In the book, they meet them in the forest with Strider.
And Sam's like geeking out. He's like, oh, there's elves.
Master Frodo, there's elves.
Which, by the way, a comment I wanted to make about Sam is that he's like the one sidekick where it's honestly like, you know, you have something like Batman and Robin, right? And Batman's the cool one, and Robin's the geeky sidekick that's got to be saved. But the interesting thing about Sam is that Sam is the awesome... No, he's the awesome, strong one, and Frodo's the one that needs saving.
But he's also a geek, and it's awesome.
No, yeah, but
my
point is that Sam is there to help Frodo, and I think that's actually my favorite. That's my favorite allegory, and I mean, a lot of the allegories in the Lord of the Rings are unintentional, but I don't know whether it's intentional or not. But this is my favorite allegory in the whole thing, which is that like, kind of humanity is represented by Frodo, which is that he's this. Kind of honestly sucky, weak little loser who stabs his friends in the back.
He has moments, though.
Yeah, he has moments, but he carries this heavy burden, and he makes terrible decisions and things. Right. But he has Sam walking right there next to him, and whether or not you want to say that's an allegory for...
Getting him to a place where he can let go of this burden.
Yeah. Whether or not you're saying you want that to be an allegory for, like, a best friend, or if you want that to represent, I don't know, maybe God or something like that, It's really is wonderful to kind of... It's really humbling to look at Frodo and be like, wow, that's supposed to be me. I'm supposed to be Frodo. I suck, but I have a Sam. Like, that to me is just, I think that's my favorite part of the entire series. As cool as Gandalf and Aragorn are, and as much as I love Merry and Pippin, I think Sam is very easily argued to be the best character in the whole thing.
People are asking, okay, I'm just reading.
Aragorn is basically like the cool superhero that you look up to. You're like, I want to be that guy.
He's got the cool hair. I
love the actor who plays him.
What's up? Giratina Origin says, in all honesty, Dragon-Roar is a great example of writing and faith and struggles.
There's being fingerprints and stuff in the glass.
Oh, thanks, man. That's cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. My response to that is, I was actually in some regards, I was trying to be allegorical with the original version of the Omega Chronicles, but I decided to go more of a Tolkien route with the remake that's coming up.
Be just a little more subtle. The augurs will present themselves.
Something that I'm ready to reveal at this point is I'm not going to reveal the details yet, but something you guys can look forward to in the remakes is there's going to be lots more sentient species in the remakes of the novel.
That's honestly that's the thing I'm looking forward to.
We've had a lot of discussion. We've been working with a lot of other people discussing how to structure all of these.
What purpose do they serve in this world?
And maybe meanings and purposes behind each race.
There's a purpose behind every single race. There's nothing that's just there to fill space. It really is a lot of and not just plot devices either. It's not like, well, we made this species just for this purpose. He made the species and then he's writing the story around it.
Yep.
And it's going pretty well. I'm a big fan of the way it's going. Really, all I do is just make sure that he doesn't write in continuity errors into a species.
Yeah, which is why you have an editor. Because the editor is the script's continuity.
That's kind of their job. She helps me out with the grammatical error a lot. He helps make sure that
the story and characters all do
he helps me to make sure that the mechanics don't conflict on themselves.
And sometimes you make characters do things that don't make sense, and I'm like, try again.
She does that too. Yeah. But more not necessarily the way their powers work, but more like their attitudes and why they
sometimes
do
a character will say something like, well, you just wanted that character to say that. Why don't you get a different character to say that? Or why don't you write something in that character's past that actually might give him a reason to say that instead of just, well, I need someone to say this. Because that's where janky writing and obvious plot devices come in. And it's insulting as a reader to come across those, so we really pull out all the stops and give extra effort and triple check to make sure we don't do that to the reader, because it's annoying when it happens to us, so we like things to feel like we're being spoken to as an adult.
It's really hard for me. I'm auditory, so reading and listening to him talk don't work together.
Would you like me to do it, or would you like Linda to do it?
If you guys could go through the comments and read them,
I got it.
That'd be great. Sorry. Linda I'm auditory, so if I try to read but there's talking going on, I literally cannot understand what I'm reading. So I'm sitting here trying to, but I'm hearing all these words, and I'm like,
It's almost 7:30, but Jonathan had to dash, so instead, you guys demanded, and Will Underwood, thank you very much, supplied, so I finally watched this. You are welcome.
Yes, you're welcome.
So, Will actually included a letter to all of us. I'm going to go ahead and read that out now, so.
Very cool.
I tell you what, because Jonathan's not here, I will hold my breath until you finish that letter.
Sounds good.
Okay.
There's a bowl of water right over there.
No, it's all good. I'll just do it.
Right there.
Honor system. Got you.
Honor system? Okay, all right.
Ready, set.
Hey, Joe, Becca, everyone in Not Your Average Productions. I guess everybody else isn't important enough to be named. First of all, thanks for taking the time to read this. And second, Joe, take that little voice in your head that tells you to be tactful and not to watch Moana and shoot it. Shoot it in the face. SAO abridged for the win. Anyways, I don't want to raise your expectations too high, so don't expect a masterpiece, but a movie Disney has done really well. It is one of my personal favorites anyways. Thanks again for reading this, and enjoy Moana. You're welcome. Will Underwood, Gamer Inspector 4700, The Phantom Renegade. Well, Will, thank you very much. I did enjoy the movie quite a bit. You can stop holding your breath at this point. Or are you just going to hold your breath to prove a point?
Yeah. We enjoyed it.
Is this like Joey where you're holding your breath, but then if we plug your nose...
No, he's actually holding his breath right now.
So,
Remember, he held his breath for all the shots that we took when I was force choking him in that video.
Would you like to explain all of the connections you made last night?
We drew a lot of connections from this movie to our own life that were pretty funny.
But I know if I made one.
You made one.
You made one, and it kind of sparked a bunch of other ones that followed.
So, the little chicken, the one with the eyes, yeah. It did some things. Yeah, hey. I love he does some things that really reminded me of
we were watching the movie and she just sits up and she's like,
there's
the chicken is Josh.
It's familiar.
It's like, then we're like, so who's the ocean? And we just all look over. It's like, mom. My mom is the ocean.
Right after the ocean just picks up, hey, and put it on the boat. It's like, yeah. Poor Josh. Josh is
chicken.
Your Steve Irwin comment made me happy.
That was hilarious. Do you not remember what you said?
Oh yeah, I was like, wait, Stingrays killed Steve Irwin. I said, and they were like, Josh, you're stupid, and I was like,
no, we were like, the stingray is Moana's grandma. Why are you being?
Oh yeah, the stingray is Moana's grandma. I was like, so what I'm getting from this movie is Moana's grandmother killed Steve Irwin.
Yes.
And see, he didn't walk in until right toward the end of the movie. So Josh is just like, what's going on? I don't get it.
Yeah, I got there during the fight with the crab thing.
That was the low point of the movie.
Yeah,
it was pretty great.
I got back from work, so.
And then I was like, so wait a minute, who am I? And then Becca's just like, you're the guy that was crying from getting a tattoo. I was like, yeah, that's accurate.
That's Joe.
Yeah. It's like, is it almost done? Is it over? She has like 4 little lines on him.
Oh yeah, you're pretty close.
That is what it's like getting a tattoo. Is this? Oh my God! Please let it be over. You look and it's like the outline is done.
Yeah.
Okay, well I got mine on the bottom of my foot, so it hurt.
Yeah, you chose the
worst. And then he was like
place
walking around like a penguin.
You chose a bad place to go get it
to. But you were still limping.
I know. I did a pretty good job masking it.
You did for a while until it started.
No, I have a job where I stand up and walk around all day, so like it didn't heal well. No, I was already working. I was already working at Enterprise, but
you had just started there.
Yeah,
like okay, so like this was a good movie. I honestly give it a solid 7 out of 10. Like,
I haven't seen
it. It was predictable, but it's a Disney kids movie, so
I liked it.
It was cute.
Honestly,
it
was
very cute. The music was fantastic.
The one thing I was disappointed in actually was Maui. I thought he was gonna be a lot funnier than he was.
You didn't come in
until the right. You didn't come in at the right time.
I just felt like he was kind of like, "Woe is me."
No, that's because you came in toward the end of the. You need to come in at the beginning of the movie and actually meet him.
I feel like I missed a lot of the tattoo jokes.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did such an amazing job, especially with the song when he's like, "Oh my gosh." I loved it.
Honestly, kind of hoping that the pig would have ended up with her, but. I
prefer Hey. He's just, it's great. My kindergartners are so cute.
The name of the chicken is Hey?
Yeah.
It's amazing. My kindergartners
are
super cute because in my art class, we get to listen to music if the kids are quiet, and the kindergartners listen to Moana, and it's super cute because they'll all be sitting there drawing their pictures and singing songs.
Well,
and it's just like my heart just explodes and I'm like, oh my
See, okay, she was a really good singer. And I thought like the songs were good, like melodically and stuff. I just didn't feel like they were iconic in any way, shape, or form. I just thought they were really forgettable. I don't even have the slightest remembrance of what they sounded like. A Disney song is supposed to be... You're supposed to be going, like the day after you watch it, you're supposed to be going, oh, I just can't wait to be king.
In the right key.
No, I haven't seen it.
You need to watch...
There's a cover in a different key, and that's the one I was saying.
You missed all of the good songs. Yeah. Okay. You missed like all of the fun part because at the end is all serious. You need to watch.
Yeah,
like
you can't make an accurate judgment of this movie. You didn't see the whole thing.
Well,
if I came in at the last part of The Lion King, it would still be awesome.
But that's The Lion King.
That's The Lion King. Nothing's ever gonna trump The Lion
King. Also, I'm mad about The Lion King remake.
As long as we're in agreement that The Lion King is the best Disney movie of all time.
No.
Well, you're stupid. Get out of here.
I love The Lion King, but I don't think it's the best.
Oh, what do you think is the best?
What do you think is the best?
I don't know.
Mom's favorite is Beauty and the Beast, to be fair.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is a really good one.
Lion King's better.
No, I agree. I think The Lion King is better.
Favorite Disney movie? Yeah. Or best?
See, my favorite princess Disney movie is Tangled.
Tangled is a great movie.
I like Tangled. Tangled's really good.
But that's my favorite princess Disney movie. I like...
My favorite princess one is Mulan.
After we finish
Mulan is very good.
Yes!
Mulan is a great movie.
Oh my gosh!
He actually saw it for the first time recently.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
It was actually on your birthday.
It was okay.
Yeah,
So like,
his birthday.
okay. So here's a little bit of the story. So earlier this year, actually for Josh's birthday, everybody went skiing. I had to work, but my mom like messed up her leg.
It was really weird. She just kind of like sat down. Like, okay, so her ski went so there's two skis. One of her skis went like in and then back out, and so
she tore her ACL.
Because it went one then the other really fast. It wasn't her ACL.
Yeah, it was her ACL and her. There was
there's another one. Yeah,
her ACL and it's another one. It's the one my mom tore, the meniscus.
And phalanges. Friends reference.
And during the surgery, they accidentally fractured one of her bones. So they had to put corrective pins
and that happens. It's not like there wasn't malpractice.
No, not at all. Like they had to put corrective pins in it and stuff. And she's doing fine now. But
she was doing really well.
She was laid up for a better part of 2 months actually. And towards the end of these 2 months, Mom was still in bed. My 21st birthday came along, and most people will just go out and party and get drunk and whatever. I didn't want to do that, so my mom was.
Joseph is square.
My mom was
I'm kidding. Don't.
Yeah, but all these squares.
Being drunk is stupid. Being drunk is stupid. Okay, it's just not really. It's not cool.
And all these squares make a circle.
We've already discussed my drunk story. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can discuss that on another day.
Yeah.
All these squares make a circle.
It's a Mr. Pupper
all
reference.
All these squares make a circle.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, make a circle.
So like, my mom was like, "So what do you want to do? It's your 21st birthday," and I was just like, you know what? We're all just gonna sit up here. We're gonna watch a movie.
So I made him Dragon Ball Z cupcakes,
which was awesome, by the way.
That was cool.
That's cool. I like
Yep. She gave me like the 7 Dragon Balls, and then she made a small cake with Goku going Super Saiyan. It was amazing.
When did you turn 21?
When did you turn 21?
Last March.
Oh no, in March. No. Wait, no. Never mind.
No.
I was gonna say, was she there for that?
No.
But she and I so Landon and I were friends in high school, and then there was like this lapse between my sophomore year and July of this year, and then we started hanging out. So. And now she's my best friend. High five. No,
you started hanging out.
Oh no, not July. In June. Wait, June.
No.
May.
January, February, March, April, May.
Yeah, no, it was May.
In May is when we started hanging out.
Yeah, no. When was the last Feral of Maya concert? Because that's when we started hanging out.
I don't know what any of this is.
No. Oh wait, yeah. Wait.
We had sushi.
Yeah, we went.
Okay.
Sushi.
Also, something that I'm gonna do just because I feel like I don't do enough like funny or proactive things for you guys. Pick a song from Moana, and I don't promise anything good, but I will acapella one of them.
Ooh, that would be absolutely hilarious.
I probably won't sound great, and you all will laugh at me, but
prepare for blood.
Now,
Pick
hey,
one.
to be fair, Joseph's actually a good singer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is my dream to eventually do a cover of something one day, but
he's not on my level though. I had to take that genuine compliment and crush it.
Anyway,
no sincerity allowed.
If we can get back there.
I was gonna say though, the reason why I don't think you should be mad about the Lion King remake is because they got James Earl Jones to play Mufasa.
No, I'm not upset about it. It's gonna be a different kind of. It's not gonna be a musical,
They're
right?
Actually doing it now.
Yeah, live action.
Wait.
Oh, so James Earl Jones can return as Mufasa, but Liam Neeson can't return as Aslan. I see how it is.
Yeah, because it's completely different.
They're both voice actors for lions, and I'm mad about it.
Wait, Liam Neeson's not what?
Liam Neeson's not going to return as Aslan for the Silver Chair.
It's a reboot.
Are they doing a Silver Chair?
Yes. For the Silver Chair, they've been eyeing the girl who plays Eleven in Stranger Things.
Millie Bobby Brown. Yes.
For
awesome.
Stranger Things. Get it, guys? Relevance. We all watch the show. It makes it cool.
Excuse me, because Samwise Gamgee is literally in Stranger Things.
Okay, I saw that, and that gives it earns a few points for that, okay?
Why do you hate Stranger Things, man?
Because everyone loves it. Like, it's
that's
like...
so stupid.
No, that's... No, I hate the fact... No. Shut up. Let me finish my sentence! I hate it because everyone loves it, and that's why everyone loves it. Everyone loves it because everyone loves it. That is stupid.
All right, give me my spiel.
Also, wait, one more thing. I have one more thing. There's one more reason. It's because all my friends in high school that said that American Horror Story was the best show they'd ever seen are all the ones watching it.
But that show actually...
Okay, big deal.
Also, American Horror Story sucks.
Here's my opinion.
It's horrible. It's so bad. It's awful.
All right,
Shut up.
Josh, back his turn.
Shut up.
Why you hit me?
Because you never shut up.
You don't get to hit me.
Yeah, she does.
Shut up.
She's family. You guys get to hit each other.
No, married people don't hit each other.
They're not your nose again.
We don't hit each other. I can hit him. He's my brother.
There we go.
I'll break your nose again. But I'll fix it.
You'll make it more... Will you make it not crooked?
I'll make it this way.
You had a point to make?
Because it goes that way.
Okay,
I want it to come
shut up. You got me distracted. The reason I think that people like Stranger Things and that everyone's going crazy is because... most of the time in Western storytelling, you have characters who, if they change, they totally change, and they are no longer the character they were before. They'll start out as a character you don't like, and then a few things will change, and then all of a sudden you get to know them, and they're a totally different person, and suddenly they're all nice, and you're like, oh wow, I love this character. And of course, there's a few exceptions. Like, Iron Man, it will always be Iron Man. But those are that's because that character is more of a real person because they still have all of those major flaws.
Yeah, Game Inspector, we saw that. Sorry.
Stranger Things, the characters, they all have flaws. And there's several characters in particular who start out and you think, oh my gosh, I hate this person. But gradually, you're like, okay, they're a human being, and I can see why they're a human being, and I kind of like them now. Mm-hmm. They didn't completely change on a dime, and they're not like all of a sudden, oh, super nice, oh, I'm totally different. But they, it's, for me, it really reminds me of anime. I feel like Stranger Things would make a really good anime. Because not only would he watch it, but
I think it would,
still can't do scary stuff.
I prefer live action though. But
I appreciate that Gamer Inspector has my back as far as finishing sentences.
I think that the way...
Don't encourage him.
I think that the way the characters are designed is very different for what we're used to here in the West. And so people who wouldn't normally watch anime, but they will watch these Netflix series things...
Wait,
that are popular. They're going crazy because they're relating to these characters and they're really cool. So that's sorry, you guys. I keep getting distracted because I can't think with people talking. But
Nathan
that was
Eldon
kind of
is
the
watching.
point.
I know that kid.
Yeah, he's one of John's friends.
Yeah, you went to high school with my brother, right? Cool.
All right, we've done enough tangents. Back to Lord of the Rings.
Zachary Levi is amazing. Sorry, was that Aaron Manzo? I think he is amazing. He's gonna be in a Rooster Teeth film.
Is he?
Yeah, they're making a laser team, dude. Laser tag team.
And he's also gonna be Shazam.
I'm very excited for that. Yes. He's gonna be in their film. They're making a full-length horror film called Bloodfest because they made a couple of comedy horror shorts half an hour long things, but they're actually going to make a full-length one called Bloodfest, and it's cool. And Gamer Inspector, I appreciate you backing me up on finishing my sentences. Thank you.
Stop encouraging him.
He also told me to shut up later.
You clearly have not had to spend a lot of time with him.
Yeah, bro. Everyone hates me that knows me.
I had to sit on a 13-hour car ride next to this child.
That was awesome. We sang Reliant K and stuff.
For the first few hours, but after that, everyone else stopped talking, but him, it just continued.
You gotta keep the hype train rolling, man.
I told her to bring headphones. Did she listen to me? No.
I brought headphones, but I didn't have music on my phone because I don't have iTunes anymore because iTunes kicked me out and I lost all of my music and I didn't have data to listen to my Spotify.
She's still mad about losing her iTunes.
No.
Eldon.
That does sound
It's
really
why I have no Apple products.
Eldon was the kid. You're the son of Colonel Eldon, right?
Let's not discuss real-life personas in here.
No, it's okay. I'm not using,
I was going to say one thing, and I'll keep it brief, and we'll talk more about this after camera. But the logic of like, I don't like Stranger Things, everyone else likes it. That's like saying, I don't like Star Wars because everyone else likes it. Like, that kind
no,
of...
but Star Wars is actually, like...
He's hitting onto a problem that, like, that seriously takes me away from watching away a lot of things, is that fandoms will ruin the franchise.
Yeah.
See, yes.
Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is like the worst thing ever. Not because Rick and Morty is the worst thing ever, but because the fandom is the worst thing ever.
I don't know.
But I'm also of the mind too. You shouldn't you should just ignore.
It's funny here.
Like,
I try to. Was like, again, I write on fanfiction.net. I get a lot of requests to read a lot of stories.
Dude, you are the horrible fandoms. You write on fanfiction.net, dude.
Yeah, but I write good ones.
He's one of the
I know. That's why I don't make fun of you all the time. Remember when you first started, I was like, oh no, dude, no.
Hey, I crossed Bionicle over with Sword Art Online. Top that.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
So what else we going to be talking about? We did Lord of the Rings.
Okay, so like, we've been talking a little bit about the allegories from Lord of the Rings. What do you think of Legolas?
I keep hearing Al Gore.
No!
We keep hearing the Al Gores from Lord of the Rings. He just pops up every now and then. Al Gore's Tom Bombadil. No, I don't know.
Steps off his own private jet to talk about global warming.
Jonathan will probably talk about Sonic Forces next week.
Oh yeah,
dude. When he plays too much video games, he just gets in a bad spot. I don't know what the heck is up with that. Like,
let's not talk about it. He's not here to. I think some other stuff is going on.
One true crazy, Chris. I hope that what you write is good.
So real quick, I played Sonic Forces this week. I got the bonus edition. It was a really fun game. The music was great. The graphics are amazing. You saw it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
The music sounded really good, but Jonathan wasn't listening to it. He was like listening to Spotify instead. I was like, why?
But actually, like the second level called Spaceport, the person that they got to do the music for, he sounded an awful lot like Nate Wants to Battle for some reason.
I love how we immediately went from allegories to Al Gore.
Nate Wants to Battle did a cover of Infinite.
Yeah.
I know he did, but this isn't the song that I'm talking about.
Going on allegories, Lord of the Rings, I was going to say,
the roughest
one key difference between C.S. Lewis and Tolkien when they were writing Narnia and Lord of the Rings is because when Lewis wrote it, he was writing it for an audience to also not just express his faith, but also because this is something he's passionate about. And when Tolkien wrote it, he was writing it for himself. He didn't care what people thought. He's like, no, I'm writing this for me.
That's how and when I first started, I definitely wrote the story for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But because I've grown to know a lot of my readers and stuff, at this point, it has become a thing for me to write it for my audience.
Right.
Like I try to be sensitive to what they're expecting.
Joseph, One True Crazy Chris says that you are his inspiration.
Thanks, man. What for?
he's a writer.
Just don't question it.
Dude,
don't
cool.
question it.
Wait, what? Seriously? I thought you were joking when you said what for. I was like, that was clever, Joseph. That was some clever, dry humor. But apparently he was dead serious.
You were going to say something.
We have a friend who is really, really into Tolkien. He actually is writing his master's thesis on Tolkien and his motivation for writing.
I'm so jealous of him. I want to.
And
I know.
It's amazing. And I actually, I read it over the summer and I'm so impressed. But it's really, really cool how you get to see his humanity through his writing and his vulnerability and his weaknesses. And it's because it's not just about religiosity. It's about maybe an inner conflict you have with with religiosity. It can also be, there were some aspects of just his personal life with deaths that he experienced, and so it's really cool. I love getting to talk to people and hearing their perspectives because I feel like everybody who reads them too gets something different because it's so packed with stuff.
I get the depravity of man out of the Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
That's all I'm about.
Yes.
Gamer, I have to agree with you on that rating. By the way, he gave Sonic Forces a 7 to 8 out of 10.
Oh, cool.
I just like to say today I scratched the back of my head so hard I bled. Who would like to see Linda's tattoo? That's awesome.
All right, let's show it to him.
Go over there. I'll make sure that it's on the camera.
It is relevant.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Whoa.
I'm a genius. Go. Okay.
I love how this just randomly happened and everyone's probably like, what?
Okay, that's in front of the camera. Okay, you're not in front of the camera. Look at where the camera is. Okay, come here, this way. Okay, you're okay. Down. Okay, up. Okay. Yeah.
Can they see it?
Okay.
Can they?
No, up this way. Okay, tilt your head back. No, now it's dark. Wait, let me get my phone out.
Oh my goodness.
Flashlight time. Okay, hold your hair up.
Let's see. Well,
see, we're Bob buddies now because my hair is short.
By the way, in response
I need to get some clips.
In response to One True Crazy Chris's my one problem is spelling. That goes away with enough practice.
The J.R.R. Tolkien symbol, logo, not signature. What do you call that? Yeah, she has that on the back of her neck.
Insignia, whatever.
She is automatically the biggest Lord of the Rings fan present.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just my bad quad.
And she had Joshua pushing her down and pulling her hair.
I am just.
No.
Sorry, we're not going to acknowledge why that's funny. It's just,
since Max isn't here, phrasing.
Oh God.
That was phrasing.
I'm gonna get the same tattoo at some point.
All of Tolkien's works.
Nice.
That's awesome.
She has all of them at home.
All in not paperback.
In some
nice.
Yeah. So this is actually something I picked
You
up.
killed us all!
This is something I picked up when we were in Denver for our honeymoon. It's a Tolkien dictionary.
I thought you picked that up for me like before.
Oh, I did pick it up in Denver before for Joseph, but I gave it to him later.
I've glanced at it a couple times.
It's beautiful. I
Gamer Inspector, I love you.
Recommend it. It's a Tolkien dictionary. It has a lot of language and just terms that you will run across while reading, and I'm really looking forward to using this when I reread them. And our friend that we discussed said it's a very, very helpful resource if you're studying Tolkien.
Oh, then that's
so it's clearly
Real
good,
quick.
and I love the.
Real quick, I need to address one of the comments here from Gamer Inspector. He says, "Is it wrong that I'm thinking of the final scene / battle of my book and playing music to it while it's happening? Absolutely not. I absolutely encourage you to listen to your favorite kind of music while you're writing, because I have gotten some of my best scenes out while I've been listening to music. I recommend a YouTube channel that's let's see, hang on, I gotta find the name of it real quick.
Listen to progressive metal. It's great.
Listen to Requiem Lacrimosa. It is amazing. And honestly, I've wanted that song to play in any anime
it's called
fight scene.
Okay, so this channel is called HD Sound I, and it has a load of instrumental tracks that you can find for him. Like if you're needing to write an emotional scene or an epic action scene or just whatever, they have scores and scores of instrumental music that you can listen to. You can find just about anything for the right kind of scene to get you in the right mind frame. Definitely give them a check.
We have a lot of fun finding music.
Yes, I want that next chapter, by the way.
Maybe someday, if we had a screen adaptation, that we would use this song or whatever. And it's a fun thing that we do sometimes if we're studying or writing or whatever.
I just want to say I love the community aspect you guys got going in the chat. I know we don't always read the chat. It's usually Jonathan.
Jonathan or Max will usually do it, but Max is out of town at a J.R.R. thing, and Jonathan just wasn't feeling too good, so he had to take his leave.
We just appreciate the interactivity of it.
Absolutely, that's part of what makes this so much fun.
Yeah, it's. I mean, if we were just sitting here in front of a camera, just blabbering onto each other, that's really sad. But if there's a community behind it, then there's... And I know it's small, it kind of shrunk a little bit, we're growing it again. And, but, it's still very cool to see you guys. And, I don't know, we're looking forward to giving you guys bigger and better things. So we appreciate the fact that you guys...
Speaking of the chat, I was scrolling back. I got the most... I got a couple of suggestions for... We Know the Way on Moana, so I guess that's the one I'm going to have to sing.
We Know the Way. But you have to sing it in her key.
She doesn't sing it.
Oh, who sings it?
Her ancestors.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You remember that
sing
one?
It in her key.
I don't think I can do that.
We'll use special effects. We'll make it happen. We'll just get a microphone, and
Well, he can do it on this. He just has to I can show you how to.
Yeah, record in a closet, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
No,
honestly,
the bathroom.
Just get surgery.
The bathroom?
And get better.
What? No. Record in a closet. You can add the reverb later. You don't want to record it in the bathroom.
I can record both and see which one comes out better.
I promise you that I'm right.
The closet does make sense.
Back to Tolkien.
Reasonable segue. My band put out an album. Links are in the description.
See, public bathrooms are hilarious because it's...
Yeah. See, I've grown up with classical musicians my whole life, and all of them say bathrooms. So.
I have a funny / embarrassing story about public bathrooms.
Oh.
Okay.
Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans.
Yes.
Thank you for reminding us. It's very important.
That's right. I cannot believe I forgot that.
We cannot repay the immeasurable debt that we owe to the men and women of service that are wearing the uniform.
Our family comes from a family that served the military for 4 generations through both World Wars, Vietnam War, and the War on Terror.
And the only reason Joseph and I cannot serve is for medical reasons. So
otherwise, we would probably.
Which I think it's a bummer that I can't serve. But, remember, put your hand over your heart and stand for the flag.
Yes. Yes.
I think that's just a simple way to show gratitude. Also, if you see a vet, say thank you for your service. That actually means a lot to them. So,
I've worked in restaurants a lot. It's always worth it to thank a veteran and see.
Yeah, they do appreciate.
They appreciate. It's like It's
just a little PSA for y'all.
Respect our military, please.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so on to funny / embarrassing public restroom story.
The Chronicles of Pride Inn. I own them, but I haven't read them. Sorry, Aaron. Don't have a lot of time to read. Maybe I'll get around to it. Actually, are they good? Tell me why they're good.
Bathroom story.
Bathroom story.
Okay, I actually have not told this to anybody before.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Thank you, gamer.
So okay. So this was 2 years ago. You were with us actually. I have to wear glasses. But when I go skiing and snowboarding, I usually wear my contacts. My contacts weren't cooperating that day, so I was just like, screw it, I'll go without them. I had to go to the bathroom, and it wasn't until I walked out of the bathroom that I realized I had used the women's restroom.
Everyone clap for Joseph. Thank you.
I don't know where that came from, but it was beautiful.
That was a great story. I forgot about that entirely.
So I never told you about that.
Yes, you have. Yeah, I remember you told me. I just forgot about it.
I've gained so much respect for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Like he committed. He went all the way through.
I didn't realize until after I came out.
Maybe they just thought you were a dyke.
Probably because there were people in there. I couldn't see for crap, and it was like I got out and I just turned to my right and stuff has to be right here for me to read it, and that's when I realized I was like, oh no, I did not.
So they just didn't know. They're just like.
So you didn't even notice that.
I didn't.
There were no.
No, I didn't notice.
That's beautiful.
Dude, I love King Arthur and Welsh folklore. Aaron Mazur, you should read the Song of Albion trilogy.
I'm allowed to tell them.
Read the Song of Albion trilogy. I'm going to type it in the chat.
Never mind, I'm glad you don't remember.
Which cheese story? Oh, that cheese story. That'll come another time.
Yeah.
I just think that's nice that they didn't say anything. They're just like, hey.
Well, in today's society, if you say anything, you could get sued for being a bigot or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
It means something.
Yeah, that was just a little something. I was like, all right, I haven't told any really embarrassing stories on this podcast. That needs to change. So there it is.
Oh, I just learned something new.
And you're married to him.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I just used Linda's phone. Read that.
When I first started...
Best book series I've ever read, including these. These are a close second, but they are the best book series I've ever read. Read it. The Song of Albion trilogy. They were talking about their favorite book series, and he was telling me, Aaron was telling me about the Chronicles of Pride Inn, which I own, but I haven't gotten around to reading. And he said it's like King Arthur and Welsh folklore, and I was like, dude, you like that? Read the Song of Albion trilogy. It is the best book it's the best book series I've ever read. There's 3 books. Brilliant. As far as Joseph hasn't read them, and he should, because there's no one better at description. I'm just
Sound like a Black Knight.
There is no one better at description.
I saw there was a guy in a movie theater today.
Then
he had
Stephen
a
shirt
of the Hulk punching Thor, but instead of Thor, it was the man in question. And I was just like,
dude, Sonic and the Black Knight is a great game.
Great music, good gameplay. Well, gameplay is questionable, but there's been worse.
I have to say, whenever we discuss The Hobbit, I think of that meme of Bilbo Baggins saying, I feel thin, stretched like butter, stretched over too much bread. Yeah. Or a movie, or a book adapted into 3 movies.
Yep, yeah.
A book stretched over too much movie. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things I actually did like about The Hobbit was the cast. Yeah. Martin Freeman was excellent as Bilbo. He was actually their first choice.
I loved
him. And he couldn't do it originally because he was filming Sherlock. But he talked to the producers of Sherlock and they said, if you can like come to the set on time, then yeah, you can do it. So he was able to do it.
Nice.
And then I love Richard Armitage as Thorin Oakenshield. He was a great choice. Very great choice.
I can't read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Becca, Gamer Inspector says in regards to my story, Becca, this is a moment that mirrors what Kirito says to Asuna at the end of the Illusionary Adventure when she asks what he would think if he found something else about a person that they married.
I'm confused.
Never mind. Thanks for the reference, man.
Found something else about...
Giratina wants to know, Josh Kramer, did you write the song Call of Destiny?
I got him.
Kramer.
I've heard that one. That's actually on my list of music that I listen to. And no, Josh did not write that.
No, my band is called Aracid. And the links are in the description to like iTunes, Spotify, and our
really
YouTube.
Good. Check it out.
We have a lyric video up on our YouTube page. That's the only thing.
See, you just need to come in. You just need to come in here with your hair like Kramer, and just be like, "Hey guys, what's up?" And just like act like Kramer. Just do it one of these days. Yeah. There you go.
Well, actually, that's just how I am when I drink too much sugar.
You need the lollipop, like in that episode that goes backward, and the lollipop just gets bigger with every time you see Kramer.
Oh yeah.
It starts out like this.
Yes.
It's bigger.
That's how they prove. See, the episode's going backwards. They filmed it in reverse, which is the good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So
yeah, sorry, I'm the one using Linda. If it says Linda Lopez in the chat, that's me. I'm just using her phone.
Okay, so let's attempt to salvage some of the Lord of the Rings topic before we take off for the night.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
We did.
We can talk about other stuff.
If you have
one other thing you want to talk about, we don't need a forced
Joe
discussion.
tried to bring it up earlier, but everyone ignored him. So.
Now I forgot what I was going to say.
No.
What?
Dang it, Josh.
Well, it wasn't that important then, was it?
You mentioned something about allegories that you find, even though he didn't intend it to be.
Never be president.
Yeah, see, that's where it went. Even though he didn't intend for allegories to be in there, I think there's a lot of times where you read it and you relate to it. You relate it to an allegory because that's just what we're trained into doing. And you had mentioned that there was one, and then we never let you finish.
You're going to say something about The Hobbit. Well, you were just about to say something about The Hobbit.
Lord of the Beans!
Lord of the Beans! Yes! Cookie Man say no!
Cookie Man say no!
You need to see it.
I've got a number. Wait. No! I forgot the song!
I got it.
No!
I'm a lucky fellow.
I'm a lucky boy. I got the new umbrella. And it's me pride and joy. Hey! How do you like me new umbrella? It's not bad.
There's just, it's so quotable. Like,
who is he supposed to be? I forgot.
I went into a sugar coma after consuming a giant peep or something like that. I can't remember.
After consuming a giant peep, I fell into a sugar coma.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a great...
I love
That's so good. It's so good.
And now look, I'm overweight, I stink, my hair is falling out. Why don't you just take a bath? What? At work? Millennials. What?
Well, we're millennials. So it's kind of a diss on us.
No, we're not. We're not millennials.
We are.
No, we're not. We're the next generation.
You're not. You're not.
I was born in 98, but...
I was born in 96.
96.
No, we're all the same age.
No,
I'm old.
millennial.
No, you're not.
We're all the same age, basically, and none of us are millennials. We're the next generation.
No, we are. If you're under the
No,
age of 30,
millennials are like in their 30s now. Or like about 30.
No, Josh. No.
90s kids.
I'm not ashamed to be millennial. I don't care what anybody says.
Millennials.
So,
well, see, like where the point where we're at is like basically Generation Y almost, but not quite.
Man.
Yeah. But again, like...
it doesn't matter what generation you come from, people are stupid.
Exactly.
Wait, what was that line? We had nothing but blank for 3 stinking days. I'd love a cookie.
We've had nothing but maggoty bread for 3 stinking days.
Nothing but maggoty bread for 3 stinking days.
What is my wife doing?
Maggoty bread?
What do you cookie?
You know, Andy Serkis did the voice of all the orcs, by the way.
What? Oh, it's your hair? You cut it off?
Sorry.
I was going to say that before...
Stale bread, he said stale bread.
Yes, dude, Lord of the Beans is
right?
amazing. It's VeggieTales, you have to see it.
Yes.
Like, whether or not you're a fan of VeggieTales, you just If you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, you have to see it.
What did you do?
That happened.
The door.
It's fixable.
Well, you fix that later. It's a slider or whatever.
Yeah, I can fix it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate
that was not the best way to go about that, but
I was actually going to say this though before we close, because not many people know this.
You could have asked him to move.
Andy Serkis, who plays Gollum, did the voice of all of the orcs and all of the ring wraiths.
Really?
That was all Andy Serkis. I don't know if any of you guys knew that, but yeah.
Wait, say all that again.
Andy Serkis did all the voices of all the orcs and everything.
And the ring wraiths.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was all him.
Wait, I usually can do a really good ring wraith.
Quick throw to Star Wars Episode 7. I just remember seeing Supreme Leader Snoke for the first time, and I was like, dang, Gollum got big!
Gollum and Voldemort have child.
If you haven't seen the How It Should Have Ended for...
There you go. That's my Nazgul impression.
Nice.
I can do that right now.
How It Should Have Ended for Star Wars
It's not very good for you.
7.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
Star Wars Episode 8 is going to be awesome!
It is. I think it's going to be...
I mean, I don't know how you would know that, but I have high hopes.
What?
Don't question.
You just said Star Wars Episode 8 is going to be awesome. I said I wouldn't know how you would know that.
How would you know that?
I said I don't. I said I have high hopes.
Okay.
I'm just giving him a hard time. It's okay.
I think it's going to be one of the
I'm a lucky fella. I'm a lucky boy. I got a new umbrella. And it's big pride and joy.
I think we're going to have to end on that. I don't really see how else.
We'll end on there.
I don't see how else we should close that off.
Sugar coma.
Check out my man RSN. There's links in the description.
Please do.
We're trying to become full-time musicians. It's hard.
I've actually been listening to their music like all week.
I like it.
Pretty great.
So, bye guys.
Alright, so...
I was going to say
everybody.
Oh, never mind.
Thank you for
Too bad.
coming in today.
Yes.
How about that 4th trilogy?